Welcome to episode 175 of the Corner of Knit and Tea. I'm Laura, also known as Fluffy K on Ravelry, Fluffy Kira on Instagram and Twitter. I blog over at the corner of knitandtea.com, which is where this episode and every episode show notes will be. I have an Etsy shop called the Corner of Knit and Tea where I sell my handspun yarns, and we have a Ravelry group called the Corner of Knit and Tea. Hi, how are you? Happy weekend. Welcome to the next episode. It is Sunday, March 18th, and it is about 45-50 degrees. I'm hoping we'll get a couple more degrees so I can go outside and take a walk this afternoon. Otherwise, has been a quiet weekend. I've got lots of crafting done. I got a nice nap yesterday, which was lovely. And other than that, I don't have too much to report. It's been a crafty week. I have two projects that are off the needles. One needs a good blocking, the other is done. So we'll be talking about that in just a minute, and I don't know that I have too much else to say. So let's go into the tea. Today I am drinking a Twinings Chai Spiced Apple. It says fine black tea, balanced with flavors of apple and savory spices of cinnamon, cardamom, cloves, and ginger. It is a tea bag. It was sent to me in a package. And I do actually really like a lot of the Twinings teas, and some of them you can even get in the markets here. And I am drinking it in my Sip Something Sinful mug, which was a gift from a friend. Ooh, that's delicious. I wasn't sure what I would think about a chai spiced apple. I mean, I like spices and I like apple, but I typically think of chai as slightly different in the flavor palette, but that is actually really good. It's got a lot of apple in it, but it's really, really good. I like it. I'm a fan. I might have to see about getting a box of that. Okay, so let's talk about the knits. The first one up is a review knit I showed you last week. It is, I got it from Be Sweet Yarns. They generously sent me a couple skeins, and it is Vinnie's Colors, which is a South African dyer, and this is a 70% cotton slub, 30% bamboo viscose. It's the Bambi, it's Vinnie's Colors, and the base yarn is Bambi, and then it's an indigo dyed. And it is about a DK or light worsted. It is machine washable. It says don't dry it, but I threw it in the dryer because it's a baby gift. This yarn is hand dyed and balled by women from an economically depressed rural area of South Africa. The sale of this product has empowered them and brought economic benefits to their community. Color fast, hand dyed yarn gives your garment a unique marbled effect. So that is the yarn that I was using, and this is the leftover. You can see, if I hold it up, let's see if I can get this to kind of, you can see that it is a slubby yarn. Like I said, it is a DK worsted weight. It is really, really nice to work with. It didn't hurt my hands as much as some of the cottons do. Obviously, cotton doesn't have as much give in it as wool does. It's not as springy. So there was that, and the pattern that I decided to knit was Milo. I did the Milo vest. It is by Georgie Nicholson, and I did the 3-month size because I had the right amount of yarn for it, and I washed it and stuck it in the dryer this morning because, like I said, I figured that's the way that Mom is going to care for it, and so I wanted to test it out, and it is freaking adorable. Milo is a cute little vest. The top part is in garter, the bottom is in stockinette, and it's got this cute little cable pattern, and there are a whole bunch of different ideas for cables you can do, but I picked the XOXO cable because I thought Hugs and Kisses would be super cute. And I am just absolutely thrilled with this. This is for a baby who will be born in April, so I didn't want to do a full sweater because I figured it's going into summer, so I thought this would be nice over a onesie, just as a little vest. So that is Milo. The yarn actually bloomed and super softened up in the wash. It is absolutely lovely, and it is squishy and scrumptious. I enjoyed knitting with this yarn, and I would definitely knit with this again. The cotton bamboo slub give it a really nice kind of just texture to knit with, and it does give it a little bit of that marbled effect. I don't know how much you can see it, but it does actually. what I'm mostly noticing is that in the light, it looks like there might be a slight difference in the skeins. So one skein is a little bit lighter than the other skein. So I think you can probably see this, that there is definitely a dividing line. Oops, I didn't notice that as I was knitting it, and I probably should have alternated skeins, but I'm not going to worry about it too much because I don't think it's super evident. I don't notice it so much just sitting in my lap, so that's kind of interesting. Oops! But I still think it is a super cute vest, and hopefully it will be nice for the little wee one. I need to package it up and ship it off, so this is the last time you will see it, but I wanted to show it to you. Yeah, that definitely has a stripe there, so do as I say, not as I do. Alternate your skeins in your projects if you are concerned about there being a little bit of a line in between them. So that is Milo, and again, Vinnie's colors, and that is available in the US through Be Sweet Yarns. So that is project number 1 done. Project number 2 that I finished, it needs a good blocking, but I will probably block it later today and give it this week. So I decided I would bring it and show it to you now. This was the Silverleaf Shawl by Lisa Hannis, and I knit it out of out of Woolmy's blend, which is her merino cashmere nylon base. It is a sport weight, and I use the color Meilenstein, which is a dark, I'm sure I butchered the pronunciation of that because it's German, and it is a dark kind of grayish purple. And that is finished. Now, I have to say, the pattern was well written. It was easy to accomplish. It's a lot of sections of garter and this little eyelet, and then the detail is the leaves at the end. This is the section that really needs the blocking, so I will definitely do that. The charts and directions were quite clear. The pattern was quite good. I will say, if you look at this online, the top photos for the project on Ravelry make it look less like a long, skinny, asymmetrical triangle and a little bit more like a triangular shawl. And I'm a little disappointed because I was hoping for a bit more of a shawl. I'm knitting this for a friend who has had a bunch of things going on recently, but will be having some surgery soon. And so I was hoping it would be a nice squishy garter shawl to wrap around herself after she came out of surgery. And so this doesn't quite fit the purpose because it's long and skinny. It's like a hitchhiker kind of, that's a pattern by Martina Bem. If you've never knitted, it's just a long skinny scarf that can be wrapped around. Now I am pleased, I picked it because she loves to be in her garden, and sadly she will miss that this year because she will be recuperating. So I picked the leaves, and I picked purple because it's her favorite color, and I love the blend. It is super soft and squishy, and I haven't decided how much I'm going to block this. I could block it more severely and get it to be slightly bigger, which is something that I want, but at the same time, I often like garter stitch unblocked. So what I can't decide is if I'm going to leave the garter stitch as is and then just block the leaf panel, because I think if I steam block that, it will lay out nicely. It just needs a little help laying a little bit flatter. So I haven't decided if I'm going to steam block or just do a full wet block. Like I said, it is quite long. It is well more than my wingspan, and it will keep her shoulders warm. It wasn't exactly what I had in mind when I started, and again, part of that is my fault because if I look at the photos further down the page, I can see that's definitely what this is. It calls for, it actually called for the skein of Woolmy's blend, which is, I believe, about 530, 540 yards. I had probably 10 to 15 grams left over, so I might have gotten away with one more repeat, but it still wouldn't have made it super large. It wouldn't have changed the fact that fundamentally it's kind of a long, skinny triangle. So I am pleased with it, but it wasn't exactly what I was looking for, but you know, them's the breaks. But it was a nice pattern to knit, so if you are looking for something more this shape, I can highly recommend the pattern. So that is the second knit that I finished this week. Like I said, I'm going to block it and then maybe give it to her this week because she'll be leaving in early April, and I don't know how long it'll be before I see her again. So that is done and dusted. So the third project that I worked on this week, and I believe I brought these to show you a few weeks ago, it's been a little bit since I didn't make much progress on them for a bit, is a pair of socks. It is in a New to Me yarn, and that is, oh, it's still actually on there, it's H&W Comfort Sock and Wool Comfort, I guess Comfort Sock and Wool. And it is a German yarn. I ended up actually going to Canada to buy it because I didn't find any US retailers who retailed it. And I got the colorway Cherry Blossom after seeing someone on Instagram knitting it. And I just finished turning the heel. Ugh. I am knitting David Schultz's Toe Up sock recipe with these. And then I had a mini. It is, I believe, it's Woolly Wonka fibers, and I think it's probably her Rhiannon sock. I can't remember what, it's either her Ayrton or Rhiannon sock base. I can't remember what the differences are. Some of them have nylon, some of them don't. I don't know whether this one does or doesn't, but it seemed to be a good color, and I had roughly enough. I hate breaking up the stripe pattern over the heel, particularly the heel turn and the heel flap. I'm doing a toe up gusset and heel flap, and so I just finished the heel flap and I just started the sock again. So that is what's going on there. I am using the Addy flip sticks, not flip sticks, flexi flips. And so these are the needles that look like a DPN, but they've got the flexible cord in the middle. Let's see if I can show you these. There we go. Flexible cord in the middle. They come in a pack of 3, and I'm using zeros, so I'm actually working with a 60 stitch sock, which may be a little bit big for me, but I decided to go ahead and do it anyway. And I was right in my assessment of the fact that doing particularly the toe up and the heel gusset on these needles was a pleasure because I didn't have to go back and forth between 2 DPNs. So that part I have really, really enjoyed. I can't decide if I like them for regular knitting or I prefer my DPNs at this point. The jury is still out on those. I will finish this sock and knit the next one, and then I'll try and decide. I'm also hoping that I have enough of this one left over that I can make a pair of socks for Roxy, because the stripes on this are pretty cool, and I'm hoping that she would like it, although I won't have enough to do her toes or her heels in the same thing that I did, so I'll have to come up with something else. But yeah. So those are my Cherry Blossom socks. I'm enjoying those. That is the only project currently on the needles that I'm working on, so I will continue to work on it. And then I have to decide what I want to cast on, and I am torn. I have a shawl that I would love to cast on. I have the yarn that I wound for the sweater for Miles, and I would really love to knit another sweater for me, and I have some bulky weight, so I could knit a sweater up pretty fast for me. So I can't decide. I think I'm going to try and be good and start Miles' sweater this week, and then see what else I have. The other thing that I have on the needles that has been on the needles for months that I need to pick up and finish because it is just the right season for it is I started to knit several months ago a Hitofude, which is a really nice lace cardigan pattern, and I am knitting it in Woolmize lace, and I finished the sleeves and whatnot, and now I have kind of the body of the cardigan to knit. And I think if I actually sat down and did it, it probably wouldn't take me more than another week or 2 to finish. And this is kind of the perfect time of year for that because it is just about to get warm enough to need a lacy cardigan. So I'm trying to motivate myself to pick that up. I just can't decide what I want to knit. I want to knit everything and I don't want to knit anything, if that makes sense. Like all of my current projects kind of are like, I mean, I want to finish these socks because I already have picked out the yarn for my next socks, and I want to join the, it is Northbound Knitting. It is one of her cool sock sets. Basically it's a main skein and then a mini skein for heels and toes. And it's got like neon pink in it, and it's really cool. And she is doing a knit along April 1st to May 31st, so I kind of want to finish these socks so I can join along there. So that's kind of what's coming up on the needles. I don't know what exactly I'll do, but I'm sure I'll show you next week because I finished 2 projects this week, so I certainly got to cast on some more. Okay, spinning real quick and then we're done. It is a short podcast today. Last week I showed you some green that I wanted to spin. It was called Blue Spruce, and I finished it up. My guess is it's between 550 and 600 yards, which puts it about probably a sport weight, sport to DK weight, and it is beautiful. I don't know that the monitor will show you the subtleties. It is green, but it's also got a little bit of blue. It is a semi-solid. Like I said, it's called Blue Spruce. It was Falkland from Essential Fibers. It's spun up beautifully. There are a few sections that are a little bit slubby, but everything else is pretty neat and even. And at 550 yards or so, you could definitely get a beautiful spring green shawl out of this one. So this will be destined for the shop. It needs a bath, and then I will do the calculations on it, and I will get that up into the shop this week. So if this is something that appeals to you, think about it. I will try and capture the colors in a photo for my Instagram feed. If you check out my photos from yesterday, I did post a photo of the fiber, and it does show some of the blue and the green. It's a really hard color way to capture, and even looking at it, it looks sort of solidly green, but then you can see kind of the pepperminty blue colors in there. So that is what I just finished spinning, which means it is time for another braid this week. This one I pulled out, this I received recently. This was January's club from Hello Yarn, and it is called Whisper. It is 80% Polworth, 20% silk, and it is super colorful. It reminds me almost of Mardi Gras colors. It's got all the purple and some teal and some yellow. It also has some little bits of pink and peach in there, so I guess that's not as Mardi Gras. But when I was looking at these colors, you know, the purples and the yellows and a little bit of the green and teal, I thought, ooh, Mardi Gras, that's fun. So that is what I'm going to spin up this week, and this will be destined for the shop as well. So if those are your colors, stay tuned, because they'll be going up and you will be able to purchase. So I think that is what I have for you today. It was kind of a short podcast. I am working on stuff and trying to get some chores done today, and I'm very excited to sit down and cast something on this evening. I'm not sure what will win out. I do have the Yarn for Miles sweater wound, and I have the pattern picked out. So that may be what I start tonight, but we'll see, and maybe I'll have a few new things to show you next week. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you have had a wonderful week and a wonderful weekend, and I wish you nothing but the best for the week ahead. And until I see you again, happy knitting, happy spinning, happy sipping, and I'll see you next time. Bye!